G'day, my name's Chris.
And I'm Ash.
And today we're going to explore what, after 1 year of ownership, 30,000 kilometers, the top 5-ish do's and don'ts, plus maybe a bonus. So, Ashley, tell me, what are the top 5 do's?
So, the number 1 do is to join a club. Joining the Tesla Owner Club for me was really great because I got to meet a lot of really good people, got to benefit from their experience, and really they have a lot of benefits to owning an EV that'll save you time and money and drama down the track.
I know that one of your things that you suggest here is about, charging sockets and things like that. Is that another one of the benefits?
Yeah. So one of the things you want to know is what you've got at the moment and what you need. For example, you don't need to have a full blowout home charger if you're only doing 50 kilometers a day. You can just use a normal power point. And if you're renting, for example, putting in a socket instead of a full EV charger can be a big help as well because the landlord's more likely to go for it.
So when you say socket, do you mean like just a bigger amperage or?
Yeah. So I mean, power sockets are all fairly common and standard. When I was renting, I put in a 20 amp socket into the rental, so that way it can do a 10, 15, or 20 amp, and that way I could charge up to 25 k's an hour overnight, which was more than enough for the couple of 100 k's I did a day.
Cool. All right, so that's 2 down. What's your next top tip?
Get glass cover. So a lot of the roof of the Model 3 is glass, and I unfortunately broke it. I broke one of my windows, and that would have been $1,000 plus exercise.
Wow.
To get that replaced. So yeah, $0 glass cover is definitely recommended.
Yeah, I think comprehensive insurance, any car you got, is a good idea. And yeah, roadside assistance. Like, have you ever done roadside assistance?
No, I haven't had to do roadside assistance.
Okay, but yeah, glass cover and tire cover. So they can be very expensive tires.
Yeah. Well, with the Tesla, not one of my listed do's, but suggest to buy the actual just the rubber, because if you're road tripping and you do get a flat or wreck a tire, that's the thing that you can't usually get locally, according to other people in the Tesla clubs.
Fair enough. Excellent. All right, what's your next top tip?
To read the FUD. So there is a lot of FUD, so fear, uncertainty, and doubt about EVs, particularly here in Australia, and know how you're going to counter it. And counter it in a polite and kind way, because you're going to get asked it a lot. Everybody's going to come up and they'll be like, but what about batteries? Who do you have to replace them every 5 years? No, that's BS. Might have been. I respond to that one specifically by going, that was true in the very early days, but that's not true anymore. So,
yeah, definitely. I think a lot of the questions that I get, because people know that I do this YouTube channel, and I'm lucky enough to sometimes get my hands on an EV, which I love. I love it. Car makers, hello. Anyway, but definitely one of the things that people ask me is like, do you need something special to charge it up? And it's like, no, there's millions of places you could charge your EV, literally. So, yeah. All right. So the next one you got here is about solar. What's that about?
Yeah. So one of the things that you're going to do as part of that FUD looking into how you're doing your power, and your power usage becomes like the key cost with your EV going forward. Charging from solar, getting a home battery, making sure that you're on a solar plant kind of helps fight some of that FUD, but also goes, for the first time in your life, you have choice of your power options. You don't have that in a petrol car. You can't choose, I want petrol that's only been manufactured on, Australia. Can't do it. Yeah. Whereas with solar, you can go, I'm generating my own power and I'm feeding it into my own car.
All right, awesome. So any other tips?
Plan to go for a road trip. So there's a website, a better route planner that you can use to kind of plan what you're going to drive and where you're going to go, and shows you all the charging options, and it's really quite a useful tool. And going for a road trip will kind of kill the whole range anxiety feelings that you might have, planning to charge and where to charge and stopping.
That's a good point. And look, for the viewers out there, there's going to be a little bonus tip for the end, so hang around for that. But now you've did the top five. What are the negative? What are the things that could be maybe better?
My first don't buy accessories to fix any problems until you actually get your car and have experienced them. Tesla is constantly changing things and adapting things. Like the most recent car release that they've done has USB-C charging ports, has wireless chargers, has a the boot opens and closes by motorized.
Yep.
So, and they've changed like the size of the frunk. So if you had bought mats and things, then you don't, then it's a problem. Also, buying a HUD was probably my most expensive mistake because I didn't need it. So I bought all the stuff to set up a hub, heads-up display, but obviously didn't need that. So haven't actually ever used it.
Fair. And look, let's talk about that Model 3 change, because there's also been a price drop, which has then meant that in most parts of Australia, I think all of Australia now, I'll put the prices on the screen, that there is now no luxury car tax if you buy the standard range plus version of it. And the people in the ACT, they get like $2,800 bonus because they don't have to pay stamp duty. And I think it's a really good change.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously want to see the prices come down further. Kind of, you are on the bleeding edge, I'd say, particularly with EVs in Australia. But remember that when you bought it, it made sense at the time. I mean, I've seen the prices come down, but I've also seen full self-driving price go up. So
definitely,
I'm well ahead because of that. But there's people that old owners have obviously gone, you know what, it was a good decision at the time, made sense. Happy that the price has dropped and more people can get involved.
Agreed. All right, cool. What's your next top negative tip?
Don't buy any charge cables or adapters unless you really need to know that you're going to use them. For example, like joining the Tesla Owner Club Australia, you can get access to use their charging cables. But I found that you don't need to use adapters most of the time. There'll be destination chargers or something similar. I have bought a charging cable, but that was because I'm actually going to share that with my family. So when they go road tripping now and in the future with an EV, then they don't have to try and go through the process of borrowing one and making sure they've got coverage.
And speaking to like powering your EV, I noticed one of your points is about three-phase power. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so don't get three-phase. If you've got a current house and you're looking at putting in an EV charger and they're suggesting to put in three-phase, you don't need three-phase most of the time. Unless you live super rural and are doing many 100 kilometers per day, then it might be worth it for you. But all in all, that $2,000 or $3,000 they'll charge you to upgrade to three-phase, not necessary.
Yeah, definitely. And especially like if you are in a rural setting, like getting power to a house is already tens of thousands of dollars as it is. So to think of doing 3 lines into your house, that's, very expensive exercise, I imagine. All right. So I like this one, and I got to agree with it completely. Parking. What do you mean?
So don't park in a charging bay unless you're charging. There's a bunch of etiquette around there, and it's one of the pet peeves of any EV owner that actually needs to charge. So if you go to a shopping centre and you don't need to charge, don't park in the Tesla bays or the EV charging bays. If you're on a DC charger, sure, park and go to lunch or something based on how long it's going to take to charge up your car, but don't leave it there for 3 hours while you go and see a movie. Those things cost a heap of money to put in, and you need them.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, as much as the EV community really dislikes ICE, internal combustion vehicles, icing, where people who've got the exhaust pipe and they're burning petrol and they park on those bays, and we don't like assholes. Sorry, ice holes. I'm going to keep that in. Ice holes. The same too is true for this. So yeah, got to agree with that one.
Yeah, and this is kind of worse as well. Like if you haven't even plugged in your car, but you're taking up a charging bay because it's not a car park.
Yeah, awesome. All right, what's your number 5?
So my tip is to don't get complacent with autopilot. Autopilot is a fantastic tool, and it can make long drives really effortless, but it can also cause issues if it has phantom braking or sees or thinks that it sees something, then you've got problems. So I found that if I've got someone tailgating me, for example, I always keep my foot on the accelerator or to turn it off completely, depending on how close they're tailgating. But it's something that you need to be to know about. It's not perfect, at least not yet. And though it's got updates regularly, it can get better or worse as part of those updates. It's still in beta and it's still being tested.
This has been great, Ash. And look, if you're enjoying this video, put a little comment down below. And if I can't answer it, I'll get Ash to answer it. Is that okay, Ash?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of my bonus things I put in was to, if you're thinking about using my referral code or just getting an EV in general, send me a message via Twitter. Me and a heap of other people will be happy to help and give information.
Yeah, please, definitely. And look, if you are on the market for like a Tesla, be it a Model 3, S or X, and you want to get yourself 1,500 free supercharging kilometers, as well as for Ash, use this referral code. You must use the link, okay, when you're doing it. But yeah, let's give some Ash some love, shall we? And while you're down there looking at the little description, subscribe. It's free, and it does honestly help the channel. All right, so Ash, let's get into this bonus thing, shall we?
All right, so a bonus to do is to buy a neck pillow for the passenger seat. We realized early on, so even with the Standard Plus, that when someone else is driving and they decide to floor it, your head is going to hit that backrest a lot. Yeah. So whenever I was giving test drives, I had to take some Panadol and brace myself because they would floor it and I would hit my head and I'd have a headache after about 10 minutes. Because every single opportunity that someone has to floor it, they will.
Yeah. Did I do that to you?
Yes. Everyone does it. It's fine. I'm so
sorry. I'm so sorry.
But that's from the lessons. So buy a head pillow, put it behind the seat for the passenger side, and it means that when you decide to do it, if you're driving, then your passenger's not going to have that same bad experience.
Fair enough. And look, speaking of which, it was over a year ago that Ashley and I did this. This is my first impression review of the Model 3. And Ash, when we can get out of these restrictions, mate, we've got to do it again. Yeah?
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. Awesome. All right, any other bonus tips, do's or don'ts?
So don't let your wife drive it or drive a Model X. That's the tip.
Tell me, that's going to get so many hate comments. What are you on about?
So then you'll have to buy another one. That's basically it. Once people get used to, with the Model X and stuff, for example, not getting wet when they're putting kids and stuff in the car, not having to go to petrol stations when you've got the kids with you, all that other drama that you have associated with an ICE car, you'll just have to buy another one.
Yeah,
it's the way it is.
I completely understand that. But you know what? And all the time I've had a Model 3 parked at this house, thanks to Tesla Taxi Australia, little plug for you. She's never wanted to drive it. It's been very frustrating. And I just know that if she did, she's like, yeah, Chris, go get yourself a Tesla Model 3. Yeah. Yeah, and the Tesla stretch happens, doesn't it?
Yes.
Anyway, all right. Well, Ashley, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your knowledge about, 1 year of ownership, 30,000 kilometers, and these, realistically 12 do's and don'ts. So thanks, mate.
No problems, Chris. It's been a fun experience.
Yep. And guys, girls, if you've been watching this and you are in the market for Model 3 or S or X, use this referral link below. Let's give Ash some love. And hey, Ash, you know what you can do? You be good.
And be green.
Something more than friends.